Genesis 41. And it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 well-favored kine and fat-fleshed, and they fed in a meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them out of the river, ill-favored and lean-fleshed, and stood by the other kine upon the brink of the river. And the ill-favored and lean-fleshed kine did eat up the 7 well-favored and fat kine. So Pharaoh awoke, and he slept and dreamed the second time. And behold, 7 ears of corn came up upon one stalk, rank and good. And behold, 7 thin ears and blasted with the east wind sprung up after them. And the 7 thin ears devoured the 7 rank and full ears. And Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And it came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled, and he sent and called for all the magicians of Egypt, and all the wise men thereof. But there was none that could interpret the dream. Then spake the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my faults this day. He told Pharaoh of Joseph, the Hebrew servant, who had interpreted his dream, and the baker's dream while they were in prison. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon. And he shaved himself, changed his raiment, and came in unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret it. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, It is not in me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. Pharaoh told Joseph both dreams of the 7 fat kine and 7 lean kine, and of the 7 full ears and 7 thin ears. And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, The dream of Pharaoh is one. See, God hath showed Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good kine are 7 years, and the 7 good ears are 7 years. And the 7 thin and ill-favored kine that came up after them are 7 years. And the 7 empty ears blasted with the east wind shall be 7 years of famine. Behold, there come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt. And there shall arise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt. And for that the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice. It is because the thing is established by God, and God will shortly bring it to pass. Now therefore let Pharaoh look out a man discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. Let officers gather the 5th part of the land during the 7 plenteous years, and let them store food in the cities against the 7 years of famine. And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all his servants. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, Can we find such a one as this is, a man in whom the Spirit of God is? And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, Forasmuch as God hath showed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Thou shalt be over my house, and according unto thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. And Pharaoh set Joseph over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his ring, put it upon Joseph's hand, arrayed him in fine linen, and put a gold chain about his neck. And he made him to ride in the 2nd chariot, and they cried before him, Bow the knee. And Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zaphnath-Paaneah, and he gave him to wife Asenath, the daughter of Potiphera, priest of On. And Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went throughout all the land of Egypt during the 7 plenteous years, and the earth brought forth abundantly. And Joseph gathered up all the food of the 7 years and laid it up in the cities. And Joseph gathered corn as the sand of the sea, very much, until he left numbering. And unto Joseph were born 2 sons before the years of famine came, And Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh. For God hath made me forget all my toil and all my father's house. And the name of the second called he Ephraim. For God hath caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. And the 7 years of plenteousness were ended, and the 7 years of dearth began to come, according as Joseph had said. And when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. And Pharaoh said unto all the Egyptians, Go unto Joseph, what he saith to you do. And Joseph opened all the storehouses and sold unto the Egyptians, and the famine waxed sore in the land of Egypt. And all countries came into Egypt to Joseph for to buy corn, because the famine was so sore in all lands. Genesis 42. Now when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, he said unto his sons, Why do ye look one upon another? Behold, I have heard that there is corn in Egypt. Get you down thither, and buy for us from thence, that we may live and not die. And Joseph's 10 brethren went down to buy corn in Egypt. But Benjamin, Joseph's brother, Jacob sent not with his brethren, for he feared mischief might befall him. And the sons of Israel came to buy corn among those that came, for the famine was in the land of Canaan. And Joseph was governor over the land, and sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came, and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them. And Joseph remembered the dreams which he dreamed of them. And he said unto them, Ye are spies, to see the nakedness of the land ye are come. And they answered, Nay, my lord, but to buy food are thy servants come. We are 12 brethren, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. The youngest is with our father, and one is not. And Joseph said, Ye shall not go forth hence, except your youngest brother come hither. And he put them all together into ward 3 days. On the 3rd day Joseph said, This do and live, for I fear God. Let one of your brethren be bound, and carry corn for the famine of your houses. But bring your youngest brother unto me, so shall your words be verified. And they said one to another, We are verily guilty concerning our brother. For we saw the anguish of his soul when he besought us, and we would not hear. And Reuben answered, Spake I not unto you, saying, Do not sin against the child? And they knew not that Joseph understood them, for he spake unto them by an interpreter. And Joseph turned himself about from them, and wept. And he took Simeon from them, and bound him before their eyes. Then Joseph commanded to fill their sacks with corn, and to restore every man's money into his sack. And they departed with their asses laden with corn. And as one of them opened his sack, he espied his money. And their heart failed them, and they were afraid, saying, What is this that God hath done unto us? And they came unto Jacob their father, and told him all that befell unto them. They told how the Lord of the land accused them of being spies, and how he required that Benjamin be brought before him. And as they emptied their sacks, behold, every man's bundle of money was in his sack. And Jacob said, Me have ye bereaved of my children. Joseph is not, and Simeon is not, and ye will take Benjamin away. All these things are against me. And Jacob said, My son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone. If mischief befall him by the way, then shall ye bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. Genesis 43. And the famine was sore in the land. And when they had eaten up the corn, their father said, Go again, buy us a little food. And Judah said, The man did solemnly protest unto us, saying, Ye shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. Send the lad with me, and we will arise and go. that we may live and not die. I will be surety for him. Of my hand shalt thou require him. And Israel said, If it must be so now, do this. Take of the best fruits in the land, and carry the man a present. Take double money in your hand, and take Benjamin also, and God Almighty give you mercy before the man. And the men rose up and went down to Egypt with Benjamin. And when Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said, Bring these men home, for they shall dine with me at noon. And the men were afraid because they were brought into Joseph's house, and they explained concerning the money that had been returned in their sacks. And the steward said, Peace be to you, fear not. Your God hath given you treasure in your sacks. And he brought Simeon out unto them. And the men made ready the present against Joseph came at noon. And when Joseph came home, they brought him the present and bowed themselves to him to the earth. And he asked them of their welfare and said, Is your father well? And they answered, Thy servant, our father, is in good health. He is yet alive. And they bowed down their heads and made obeisance. And Joseph saw Benjamin, his brother, his mother's son. And he said, Is this your younger brother? And Joseph made haste, for his bowels did yearn upon his brother. And he entered into his chamber and wept there. And he washed his face and came out and refrained himself. And they sat before him, the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth. And the men marveled one at another. And Joseph sent portions unto them from before him. But Benjamin's portion was 5 times so much as any of theirs, and they drank and were merry with him. Genesis 44. And Joseph commanded his steward, Fill the men's sacks with food, and put every man's money in his sack's mouth, and put my silver cup in the sack's mouth of the youngest. And as soon as the morning was light, the men were sent away. And Joseph said unto his steward, Follow after the men, and when thou dost overtake them, say, Wherefore have ye rewarded evil for good? And the steward overtook them and spake these words unto them. And they said, God forbid that thy servants should do according to this thing. With whomsoever of thy servants it be found, let him die, and we also will be my Lord's bondmen. And every man opened his sack, and he searched, beginning at the eldest and ending at the youngest. And the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. Then they rent their clothes and returned unto the city. And Judah and his brethren came to Joseph's house and fell before him on the ground. And Judah said, What shall we say unto my Lord? God hath found out the iniquity of thy servants. Behold, we are my Lord's servants. And Joseph said, The man in whose hand the cup is found, he shall be my servant. Then Judah came near unto him and pleaded for Benjamin. He recounted all that had happened between their father and the ruler of Egypt. He told how Jacob's life was bound up in the life of Benjamin, and if the lad returned not, their father would die in sorrow. For thy servant became surety for the lad unto my father. Now therefore, I pray thee, let thy servant abide instead of the lad, a bondman to my Lord. And let the lad go up with his brethren. For how shall I go up to my father, and the lad be not with me? Lest peradventure I see the evil that shall come on my father. Then Joseph could not refrain himself before all them that stood by him. And he cried, Cause every man to go out from me. And there stood no man with him, while Joseph made himself known unto his brethren. And he wept aloud. And the Egyptians in the house of Pharaoh heard. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I am Joseph. Doth my father yet live? And his brethren could not answer him, for they were troubled at his presence. And Joseph said unto his brethren, Come near to me, I pray you. And they came near, and he said, I am Joseph your brother, whom ye sold into Egypt. Now therefore be not grieved, nor angry with yourselves, that ye sold me hither. For God did send me before you to preserve life. For these 2 years hath the famine been in the land, and yet there are 5 years in the which there shall neither be earing nor harvest. And God sent me before you, to preserve you a posterity in the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance. So now it was not you that sent me hither, but God. And he hath made me a father to Pharaoh, and lord of all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. Haste ye, and go up to my father, and say unto him, Thus saith thy son Joseph, God hath made me lord of all Egypt. Come down unto me, tarry not, and thou shalt dwell in the land of Goshen, and thou shalt be near unto me, thou and thy children, and thy children's children, and thy flocks, and thy herds, and all that thou hast. And there will I nourish thee, for yet there are 5 years of famine, lest thou and thy household and all that thou hast come to poverty. And behold, your eyes see, and the eyes of my brother Benjamin, that it is my mouth that speaketh unto you. And ye shall tell my father of all my glory in Egypt, and of all that ye have seen, and ye shall haste, and bring down my father hither. And he fell upon his brother Benjamin's neck, and wept. And Benjamin wept upon his neck. Moreover, he kissed all his brethren, and wept upon them. And after that his brethren talked with him. And the fame thereof was heard in Pharaoh's house, saying, Joseph's brethren are come. And it pleased Pharaoh well, and his servants. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, Say unto thy brethren, This do ye, lade your beasts, and go, get you unto the land of Canaan. And take your father and your households, and come unto me. And I will give you the good of the land of Egypt, and ye shall eat the fat of the land. Now thou art commanded, this do ye. Take you wagons out of the land of Egypt, for your little ones, and for your wives, and bring your father, and come. Also regard not your stuff. For the good of all the land of Egypt is yours. And the children of Israel did so. And Joseph gave them wagons, according to the commandment of Pharaoh, and gave them provision for the way. To all of them he gave each man changes of raiment. But to Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver, and 5 changes of raiment. And to his father he sent after this manner 10 asses laden with the good things of Egypt, and 10 she-asses laden with corn, and bread and meat, for his father by the way. So he sent his brethren away, and they departed. And he said unto them, See that ye fall not out by the way. And they went up out of Egypt, and came into the land of Canaan. Unto Jacob their father, and told him, saying, Joseph is yet alive, and he is governor over all the land of Egypt. And Jacob's heart fainted, for he believed them not. And they told him all the words of Joseph, which he had said unto them. And when he saw the wagons, which Joseph had sent to carry him, the spirit of Jacob their father revived. And Israel said, It is enough. Joseph my son is yet alive. I will go and see him before I die. Placed in Benjamin's sack. The brothers departed early the next morning. Joseph sent his steward after them. The steward accused them of stealing the silver cup. The brothers denied the accusation. They reminded him that they had returned the money before. They insisted they would never steal from Joseph. They declared that whoever possessed the cup should die. The rest would become servants. The steward searched their sacks. He began with the eldest brother. He ended with the youngest. The silver cup was found in Benjamin's sack. The brothers tore their clothes in grief. They returned to the city. They fell before Joseph on the ground. Joseph questioned their actions. Judah admitted they had no defense. He believed God had uncovered their guilt. Joseph declared that only Benjamin would remain as a servant. The others could return home. Judah stepped forward and pleaded with Joseph. He explained how much Jacob loved Benjamin. He reminded Joseph that Jacob had already lost one son. Losing Benjamin would break his father's heart. Judah revealed that he had guaranteed Benjamin's safety. He offered himself as a servant instead of Benjamin. He begged Joseph to let Benjamin return home. Joseph could no longer control his emotions. He ordered everyone else to leave. He wept loudly before his brothers. Joseph revealed his identity. "I am Joseph." His brothers were shocked and afraid. Joseph told them not to be grieved. He explained that God had sent him ahead to preserve life. 2 years of famine had passed. 5 more years remained. God had used Joseph to save many lives. Joseph had become ruler over all Egypt. Joseph instructed his brothers to bring Jacob to Egypt. They would live in Goshen. Joseph promised to provide for them. Joseph embraced Benjamin and wept. Benjamin wept also. Joseph kissed all his brothers. The brothers finally spoke with him. Pharaoh heard that Joseph's brothers had arrived. He was pleased. Pharaoh invited Jacob and the entire family to Egypt. He promised them the best of the land. Joseph provided wagons and supplies. Each brother received new garments. Benjamin received extra silver and garments. Joseph sent gifts and provisions to Jacob. The brothers returned to Canaan. They told Jacob that Joseph was alive. Jacob could hardly believe it. When he saw the wagons, his spirit revived. Israel said, "It is enough. Joseph, my son, is yet alive. I will go and see him before I die." Israel began his journey to Egypt. He stopped at Beersheba and offered sacrifices. God spoke to Israel in a vision. "Jacob, Jacob." Israel answered, "Here am I." God told him not to fear. He promised to make Israel a great nation in Egypt. God promised to go with him. He promised that Joseph would be with him at the end. Jacob and his family journeyed into Egypt. They brought their children, livestock, and possessions. The descendants of Jacob entered Egypt together. The total number of Jacob's household was 70. Judah went ahead to Goshen. Joseph prepared his chariot. He went to meet his father. Joseph embraced Israel. He wept on his father's neck for a long time. Israel said, "Now let me die, since I have seen thy face, because thou art yet alive." Joseph prepared to introduce his family to Pharaoh. He instructed them to say they were shepherds, and the Egyptians despised shepherds. This would allow Israel's family to dwell in Goshen. Genesis 47-50. Joseph informed Pharaoh that his father and brothers had arrived from Canaan. They were living in Goshen with their flocks and herds. Joseph presented 5 of his brothers before Pharaoh. Pharaoh asked about their occupation. They answered, "Thy servants are shepherds." They explained that the famine in Canaan was severe. They requested permission to dwell in Goshen. Pharaoh welcomed them. He instructed Joseph to settle them in the best land of Egypt. They were given the land of Goshen. Joseph brought Jacob before Pharaoh. Jacob blessed Pharaoh. Pharaoh asked Jacob his age. Jacob replied, "The days of the years of my pilgrimage are 130 years. Few and evil have the days of my life been." Jacob blessed Pharaoh again and departed. Joseph settled his family in the land of Ramesses. He provided food for his entire household. The famine grew more severe. There was no bread in the land. Joseph gathered all the money of Egypt and Canaan. The people used it to buy grain. When their money was gone, the Egyptians came to Joseph. They asked for bread. Joseph exchanged food for their livestock. They brought horses, cattle, flocks, and asses. The following year they returned. Nothing remained except their bodies and lands. They offered themselves and their land to Pharaoh. Joseph purchased all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh. The people became servants of Pharaoh. Only the priests kept their lands. Joseph gave the people seed. He instructed them to plant their fields. 1/5 of every harvest would belong to Pharaoh. 4 parts would remain for the people. The people said, "Thou hast saved our lives." Israel dwelt in Goshen. They gained possessions. They grew and multiplied greatly. Jacob lived 17 years in Egypt. He reached the age of 147 years. As Jacob's death approached, he called Joseph. He said, "Bury me not in Egypt. Carry me out of Egypt. Bury me with my fathers." Joseph promised to do so. Jacob asked Joseph to swear. Joseph swore. Israel worshipped upon his bed. After these things, Joseph was told that Jacob was sick. Joseph brought Manasseh and Ephraim to see him. Jacob recalled God's appearance at Luz. He remembered God's promises of blessing and multiplication. Jacob adopted Ephraim and Manasseh as his own sons. They would receive inheritance among the tribes of Israel. Israel saw Joseph's sons and asked, "Who are they?" Joseph answered, "They are my sons, whom God hath given me." Jacob embraced and kissed them. Joseph positioned Manasseh before Jacob's right hand. Ephraim stood before Jacob's left hand, but Jacob crossed his hands. His right hand rested upon Ephraim. His left hand rested upon Manasseh. He blessed the lads. Joseph tried to correct him. Jacob refused. He declared that Manasseh would become great, but Ephraim would become greater. His descendants would become a multitude of nations. Jacob blessed them. He said, "God make thee as Ephraim and as Manasseh." Jacob assured Joseph that God would bring Israel back to the land of their fathers. Jacob gathered all his sons together. He spoke prophetic blessings over them. Reuben was his firstborn, yet he would not excel because of his sin. Simeon and Levi were rebuked for their violence. Judah received a great blessing. His brothers would praise him. His enemies would fall before him. Judah was compared to a lion. The scepter would not depart from Judah. A ruler would arise from his line. Zebulun would dwell by the sea. Issachar would enjoy rest and prosperity. Dan would judge his people. Gad would be overcome, but would overcome in the end. Asher would enjoy abundance. Naphtali would speak goodly words. Joseph received the richest blessing. Though attacked by many, God had strengthened him. He would receive blessings from heaven above and the deep beneath. Benjamin was compared to a ravening wolf. After blessing his sons, Jacob gave his final instructions. He requested burial in the cave of Machpelah. There Abraham and Sarah were buried. There Isaac and Rebekah were buried. There Leah was buried. Jacob finished speaking. He gathered his feet into the bed. He yielded up the ghost. He was gathered unto his people. Joseph fell upon his father's face. He wept and kissed him. Joseph commanded the physicians to embalm Jacob. 40 days were required for embalming. The Egyptians mourned for 70 days. Joseph requested permission from Pharaoh to bury his father. Pharaoh granted permission. A great company journeyed to Canaan. They mourned at the threshing floor of Atad for 7 days. Jacob's sons buried him in the cave of Machpelah. After the burial, Joseph returned to Egypt. When Jacob was gone, Joseph's brothers became afraid. They feared Joseph would repay them for their past evil. They sent a message asking for forgiveness. Joseph wept when he heard their words. His brothers fell before him. They said, "We be thy servants." Joseph replied, "Fear not. Am I in the place of God? Ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good, to save much people alive. Joseph comforted them. He spoke kindly unto them. He promised to provide for them and their families. Joseph remained in Egypt. He lived 110 years. He saw Ephraim's descendants to the third generation. Before his death, Joseph spoke to his brethren. He said, I die. God will surely visit you. He will bring you out of this land. He will bring you unto the land promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Joseph made the children of Israel swear an oath. They were to carry his bones with them when God delivered them. Joseph died at 110 years of age. He was embalmed. He was placed in a coffin in Egypt.